How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled, and welcome back to a brand new video. Ladies and gents, we have the official release date, okay? We have the actual release date for the Pokemon DLC Part 2 for Scarlet and Violet Hidden Treasure of Area Zero. We're going to be going to the Indigo Disk. Yes, and we also know which day it's coming out, which is specifically on the 14th of December, which I am not happy with. Personally, I wanted it in November, and that's because the 14th of December is my birthday. It's my birthday that day, and I was going to be celebrating it, but now I'm going to be here playing this game instead, which is fine. I'm excited to play it. I'm excited for the DLC. Just weird timing for me. But nonetheless, though, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we finally know the release date. It is going to be on the 14th, but I will point out a few things. Keep in mind, when these things release, the DLC, as opposed to the mainline games, they actually release simultaneously, right? Like at the same exact time everywhere. Now, what do I mean by same exact time? I don't mean that it's going to release at 12 for everyone. What I mean is, if it goes out, it's out everywhere. So you might be in Japan, it might be 10 a.m. in the morning for you, but it might be like, you know, 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. for someone else, right? But it doesn't matter because it's releasing at the exact same time. So when it goes live, it goes live. It doesn't matter. You don't have to wait until midnight, nothing like that. It just, once it goes out, it goes out. So it means if you're in North America, if you're in the United States, it's going to release around 9, 10, around that range, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., give or take, in the towards the night for you guys. So it's going to be releasing around that range for you. For Europeans, we are totally done for, okay? We Europeans, we're getting this thing released sometime in the morning on the 14th. So for us, it's going to suck, as per usual, because we're going to have to get it super early in the morning, and I'm not going to be able to sleep, man. Either way, we also have a post here from the Pokemon Japan website. The release date for Scarlet Violet Treasure Zero Part 2, the Indigo Disk, is set for December 14th, Thursday. Of course, that is when it comes out in Japan, because it's in the morning of Japan. Like, in the morning, it releases sometime around then, on the 14th, which is basically early morning Europe, and the 13th in the United States. So just keep that in mind. They also have a link here to the website, which includes a few, I guess, details if you need that. I don't think it's necessary really to check it, but we're going to check it anyways to see if there's anything worthwhile to see here. If we just translate the website, no, it's just here it is. Yeah, okay, so just literally the release date has been given now. And that's about it, just that it's coming out on the Thursday. Also, as pointed out here by Soul, who says, wow, just checked out, and this looks like it's possible that it's going to be live in North America. Like me, the Indigo Disk will actually release on December 13th. Are we getting something before Japan for once? No, it's just a joke, because it is releasing at the exact same time for everyone. It's just that basically, if you are in North America or in Japan, you're getting it released at the perfect time, because you have a little bit of time at night to still play it. If you're in North America, if you're staying up a bit later and playing it till like midnight, just to have fun for a few hours, you can then play it then. But if you're in Japan, you're just getting in the morning, so you can enjoy your whole day with it. However, if you're in Europe, we get it like super early in the morning, like 3 or 4 in the morning, so we're going to be up all night and we have no energy left. So yeah, either way. There is a post here from PokeExperto, which also goes through. The official website for the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet indicates 2 different release dates for the second DLC. December 14th, Europe. December 13th, America. This is due to the time difference between countries, but it serves to indicate the possible release dates, which apparently is... I mean, he says 00, so midnight UTC, which I don't know if that's the case. All I know is that it's going to release the exact same time, but we don't know the exact hour. I don't know the exact hour. I think we're going to really learn that soon enough. We're going to know the hour, and I think you can just look at previous release dates, and you're kind of going to have a better idea of when it most likely is going to be coming out. Just keep that in mind. I just want to point that out. That is, you just pay attention to what's going on in previous releases, you will know when this goes out. So literally just go look those up. Nonetheless, though, that's the official news. So this is the official stuff we've gotten. There is no new trailer, by the way. Just an FYI. There is no new trailer. We've got no new information in regards to that. So that's a bit shitty. But what we do know, okay, the information that is 100% clear to us, that we 100% do know, is that it's coming out on this day. That's it. Everything else, we do not know. So what I want to talk about next is a bunch of leaks and rumors that have come out about this DLC, as well as some stuff for next year for Pokemon that I want to go through and explain. So let's just go through that in this video. I'm also going to be live streaming after this video. I'm going to be live, or sometime after this video, I'm going to be live on RuffledRowlit, the main channel, live streaming, and we're going to be specifically talking, we're going to be doing a podcast specifically talking about everything we know. So let's get started with the first thing, which is all the posts from Riddler-Ku. Now, for those of you guys who are new to this channel, who don't know who he is, who don't know much about Riddler-Ku, this guy is a legitimate leaker. This man right here, woman, person, they, them, I don't even know what they are, but this individual is a legitimate leaker, and Ku has been leaking a bunch of stuff lately, and especially to do with the second DLC. What he said is, do you love double battle? Sudachi 2 is, and then he just kind of stops and doesn't say anything more. But he says, do you love double battle? Which basically just is asking us, do we like double battles in Pokemon? But then Sudachi 2, for those who do not know what Sudachi 2 is, Sudachi 2 is actually the code name. It's the literal code name for the second DLC. The first one, I think, was just Sudachi 1, and this one is Sudachi 2. So that's just a code name for it. So he's just saying that something about the second DLC, probably that we're going to have a lot of double battles in it, which I hate. I hate them. I hate double battles. But apparently this game or this DLC might have a lot of them. That's pretty much what I'm getting out of this. There's not really much else that is being learned from here. I mean, even if we look at like these screenshots from the actual DLC itself, you can see there's a lot of battles that are double battles, which I hate so much. I hate it so with a passion. I hate it with a passion. But it doesn't really matter what I think. The next tweet, though, that he put out was specifically this one, where he said Legendary in Sudachi 2. So Legendary could imply either one of two things. Either all the Legendaries, or just talking about the one new Legendary, which is, of course, Terapagos. We're going to talk about him a little bit further later, because we have new details about him from some of the merch that's come out. But he says Legendary is in Sudachi 2, and then just like all flavors of chips, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I guess is it chips? It's all chips, right? It's all kind of snacks. I guess snacks is the right word, right? Because you got like, got a lot of different things in here. Cheez-Its, Smart Food, Chip Ahoy, Cheddar Goldfish. You've got like freaking mini pretzels and stuff. These are all snacks. They're not chips per se, but it's just a different sorts of snacks of different kinds of, flavors, I guess, in some way or shape. But the thing is, what does this have to do with anything? Well, people are speculating that this could be possibly hinting at Terapagos basically having all these flavors, having every possible typing on it, which we kind of already know to be the case. As you can see right here, Lumios says, I'm so excited to get a legendary from a vending machine. I guess it's tied to the PK Hex feature. But then he says, clever guesses, but not quite close. Can you give me a hint of the method? Is it totally new or something that has been in other games before? He says, more hints tomorrow. And then he gives us the hint the next day, which is this, Legendary in Sudachi 2 Part 2. And that is just this picture of a bunch of different like silhouettes of, not even silhouettes, just little drawings of different things that you would see in like a PowerPoint presentation. Appointment setter, restaurant host, data entries, house sitting, caretaking, newspaper delivery. And basically down here, somebody looked up the image and it's like a post about easy part-time jobs to boost your economy. It's just weird. It's not really unrelated to anything, but a lot of people had theories about this and what this could mean. And I guess like there's a lot of different ways of looking at this. Somebody here said PKX feature, maybe a appointment setter, certain times or limited visits a day, restaurant host, meet the character that helps us, data entry, picking specific stuff for the Pokemon we want to find, house sitting, caretaking, the Pokemon being prepared, paper delivery, receiving it. Maybe implying that in some way or shape that the Legendary is going to have some way of affecting our Pokemon. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's the case. Maybe Terapagos literally works in such a messed up way that it's basically equivalent to PK Hex, where you can use it to alter other Pokemon, or you can alter the Legendary itself in certain ways. Again, I don't know. It is very strange, very confusing. I don't really know. It's very much something I don't fully understand. But hey, I'm here to talk about it. So let's look at somebody who has some better information to say. So, for example, Sol here tweeted out and quote-tweeted these two tweets and said, spoilery, I could be wrong, but to me this reads the following. 19 fetch/side quests to catch the returning legendary Pokemon. That's actually a really good theory. Now, I don't know what the second part has to do with anything, though. I don't understand how any of this relates. Like, this is why the one reason I prefer 4chan rumors, because it just tells you what it is. This is just confusing. This just doesn't tell me much, like, looking at this, like, post. Of course, there is a riddle behind it and all that kind of stuff, but nonetheless. Now, maybe the amount 19 doesn't mean anything, but the mundanity and junk theme of food and everyday work makes me think this will be a pretty standard, not so exciting feature. We'll see, I guess. Okay, so I guess you don't look at it at surface level, right? I guess that's what he's trying to say here, is that basically what we have to do, and I guess if we count these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It's literally 19 of them. And then here, I guess it's just mundane stuff, right? Appointment setting, newspaper deliveries, data entries, house sitting. I guess just mundane stuff is what he's implying here. Just different quests is what they're implying with this. So maybe, as far as I can understand from what's being said by Sol here, and this is just me extrapolating from what he said, which is, I'm guessing he's trying to tell us that the way we get the Legendary, possibly, and this is just possibly, is that we simply just have to do a lot of fetch quests. It's normal stuff you see in MMORPGs. Fetch quests, it just forces you to go from location to location, doing just like mundane, kind of boring stuff to be able to get it. And I'm guessing that's what he's implying here, which also makes sense, because think about it. What we see here is 19 pieces of snacks. 19. That's a very specific number, because normally we have 18 types in Pokemon, and we have also the confirmation of a brand new feature called the 19th type. This 19th type is going to be related to Terapagos itself, which would imply that what he's telling us here is, oh, you're going to be able to get all of those, and then you're going to have all those, but to get all those, you're going to have to run around. I feel, he says here that he like kind of compares it to like a side fetch quest or whatever. I think it's going to be a little bit similar to how Arceus works with the plates, right? You guys know how Arceus, you have to get all the plates to get all the different typings. I think it's going to be kind of similar to that. Not exactly, but kind of in that sense, right? Do a bunch of quests, get all these different things that once you give it to Terapagos, it fully transforms into its final form, which is the one we've seen with like, the big version of it and not the baby form. That's the way I view it. But again, you can see right down here, Koenma says, sub 013-037 is a series of 25 side quests that give you a static encounter. And then he also tweeted a while back saying 25 best American snacks, and then 24 plus 1. And you can see Soul says it makes a lot of sense to me. And then you will see Kayla saying might be just Terapagos because he said legendary, not legendaries. 19 equals 18 types plus 1. Exactly. That's what I was thinking as well. So we're going to get items for each type, possibly similar to the plates in PLA. Oh my god! I literally said the same thing. Plus the everything type to get Terapagos. Exactly. It'll be funny if we gather type-themed foods to lure it out. See, the type-themed food makes sense because we already know that one of the new Pokemon, the Poison Pokemon, is going to have some sort of relationship to this character from One Piece who can, like, take pieces off their body and make these little, like, mochi things, these little, like, foods of different sorts of, just different flavors and stuff. That character was made already as a reference by Ridley here several times before. Once before, to be related to the brand new, I always forget his freaking name. He's related to the Peach Boy, but I forget what it was called again. It's like the new Dokutaro. There we go. Dokutaro. Dokutaro is specifically going to be a brand new Pokemon. It already was hinted and shown in the Teal Mask multiple times. If you watched any of my previous rumor videos, you know about it. And I don't explain it all 100% again. I'm going to talk about that in the podcast. But what I want to say is that we pretty much have a confirmation from there. We pretty much confirm from there that it's going to be it's going to return in some form, way, or shape, in some way or form otherwise. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that Dokutaro might possibly be related to the quest we have to do, where we have to run around, get pieces of possibly food that's going to be pretty boring and mundane, pretty much like a daytime job. We're going to run around doing that. And then once we have all of them, we give them to the baby Terapagos, the little one. Forget its name. And then once we give it to them, Momotaro? No, that's Dokutaro. That's the actual name. But no, it's like the baby version. Dokutaro is the evil one. But we give it to them, and that's going to give it its final form. Again, I'm a little bit all over the place because I haven't kept up with these specific tweets, so I am not 100% in the loop of what they've been trying to say. But let's move on to what Jan said, which is specifically this right here. If anyone is curious about the returning Legends work in Indigo Disk, the Chinese determine... are they trying to say data mine? I guess data mine thread has already suggested that it's tied with side quests rather than any actual special gimmicks or just 7-star raids that are time limited and can't be soloed. Basically, but this is talking about the S2_sub_13037, and I guess not the first one, but basically that's what this guy mentioned down here. That's what Koenma says, which is a series of 25 side quests that give you a static encounter, which again, I wonder, this could be one of two things, right? Either it's 19 fetch or side quests to catch legendary Pokemon, and those legendary Pokemon are just, this is a way to catch them. It's going to be separate side quests to catch all of them. They're not going to be especially like interesting or cool, but it's going to be a way to capture all of them. Or it's going to be 19 or 25, the number is very much all over the place, to get these items or foods to give to Terapagos to give it its final form. It's one of those two things, most likely. That seems the way to go in here. And as you can see right here, Jan says that basically it's tied with a side quest rather than any special gimmicks or 7-star raids. So as you can see right here, he says, let's talk about some more stuff from the Chinese data mine thread. Sub 1337 is a series of 25 side quests that give you a static encounter. What could they be? So there's 25 of those. I believe it's for return legends, but this is just my guess. Makes no sense to put all of them in 7-star raids. So I'm wondering, is it possible that the way that we get whatever item we need specifically to get our hands on Terapagos, is that maybe locked behind these 25 quests for these static encounters? Because these are specifically mentioned here as side quests. It's not just regular encounters, or you guys remember if you played Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, Ultra Sun and Moon, really any game, like even the Crown Tundra, where basically to catch the legendaries, they're all kind of behind these, secondary features, right? For example, in Ultra Sun and Moon, it was the Ultra Wormholes. You had to speed through them and get into different, wormholes that would bring you to a location where you would find one of the legendaries. That's what they did in Ultra Sun and Moon. In Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, you had the Mirage spots, right? The giant, Hoopa rings. You go through and you would end up in a location that would bring you to one of the legendaries. And then in, I think, the Crown Tundra, you just did the Dynamax Adventures, right? It was basically in the Crown Tundra, these special Dynamax Adventures that if you went through all the way, at the end, you would find a legendary, right? That's what that was. And I don't remember if all of those were a single use or multiple, right? I think the legendaries were single time. So once you catch them one time, that's it. If I remember, I could be wrong about this, but I think that's what the case was. So is it possible that these side quests they're doing in this DLC will be side quests we have to do to then be able to get these items that will then be given to us so we can actually transform, Terapagos into its final form? Or Terapagos' final form has nothing to do with these side quests and these side quests are totally separate? Again, not very clear. But again, these could just be assumptions from the Chinese data miner, but seems like some people want more info from me, so I'll talk about some stuff. If any data miners like Matt want to explain some stuff or debunk this info, feel free to join in. But yeah, so basically, we don't really truly know. That's the problem. We don't 100% know. And you can see here, honestly better than raids. To be honest, there are only 25 entries of static encounters in the codes. We have well more than 50 plus past legends, so either the not returning legends are just simply cut, or you can only transfer them into the game, or they could potentially become future 7-star raid events. Well, we'll have to wait and see, right? Either way, that's one of those things. So what do you guys think about this? I want to just hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below about this specific point. Do you guys think that this is going to be a case where we're going to collect 19 different mini quests running around, getting our hands on items that will transform Terapagos into its final form? Or do you think this is related to the legendaries and basically doing a bunch of side quests, fetch quests, to be able to find them in a very mundane ways, but still it's a side quest to get them? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below, because I honestly do not know what to think about this. It's just all a bit up in the air, but let's move on. Next up, he tweeted out this. It says, one of them, and then it's like a picture of the BB League. Now, this is the BB League. These are the characters you're going to be battling in Crown Tundra. In the Indigo Disk, right? These are the characters you're going to be battling and dealing with. You've got the guy who basically looks like, what's his name, Drayden, whatever, and the other three. So the thing with these guys is they're going to be the Elite Four of this DLC, basically. But he's saying that one of them, and then he says the following word, which is Old Iron, which Iron, I mean, if we're talking about Iron, I would assume the girl on the right here, or the character on the right here, I'm assuming she would be the one related to that, but I don't know what that means. Yeah, you can see here, Jalenciaga actually asked, are there any returning characters from previous games? And he just replied with, I think he just literally said, the leaks or something like that. I think he literally said, look at the leaks or something along those lines here in Mandarin, but I can't really read it because, well, yeah, I don't read Mandarin. So, you guys can see here. And then you can see Soul Silver responding with a disc and a pickaxe. When I think of disc pickaxe, if I just think of a pickaxe, all I can think about is one of the characters from maybe Sinnoh or something like that. But yeah, it's not very clear to me. You also have here a reference to Lelouch from, oh boy, I forgot the name of the anime. Either way, it doesn't matter. But again, I don't really know what he's trying to say with this. I'm gonna be real, I'm totally lost on this one. If anybody knows this one, let me know, because I'm just gonna be honest, I don't know where this one is going. If you look at the quote tweets, I'm trying to see, it says one of them is Old Iron, so again, that's what the actual tweet said, and people are saying different things. Again, I don't really know what it's supposed to mean. My theory on this, since the Blueberry Academy seems to be about Terra and all the sorts, using the Old Iron hint, my guess is that each uses a paradox. To make it cooler, I'll say Scarlet gets future and Violet gets past. So maybe maybe one of them uses one of the paradox forms, right? Is that maybe the possibility? That's what this guy is implying here, Dr. Random. That's what he's trying to say. But I don't know if that is the case, though. I don't know, man. It's just not making it very clear. I'm gonna be real. It just literally makes no sense to me. Is it possible that one of them is gonna be using a team from an old character? The team, whatever. Like, is that the case? Again, not very clear. I'm gonna be real with you. Either way, we move on to some of the next few subjects. Now, I'm going to be real. There is a lot of tweets lately. There is a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm not even going to lie. There's just a lot of rumors and stuff that we just haven't really, covered necessarily. So there's just a lot. There's just a lot. But anyway, here's the first thing we're going to be looking at right here, which is a post from, of course, Sol, where he made an original tweet on the 22nd of March saying, if in the build-up to a much bigger theory, have you noticed that Terapagos is nearly identical to the depiction of the small turtle on the top of the odd sphere in the Scarlet and Violet book? I thought its eyes were different, but no. And then here he says, in my opinion, it's really silly to think this is Terapagos' final form. Anything is possible. To me, it's just a drawing of Terapagos using its Terra Shell move / battle state and possibly the 19th Terra type. Its final form might pull a few elements from here, but just think about the other recent third legendary's boss forms. They change drastically and become super powerful. This is especially true if it's going to be the GOAT / strongest of them all, which I guess is true, because if you look at all these previous Pokemon, all of them have transformed. Like you guys can see right here. Of course, we have, like Eternatus and whatnot. And yeah, they have this final form, which is only temporary, right? And I guess that's the same thing we're expecting here from Terapagos, is something like this, where it's just, this would be its final form. Not like what it's, permanently looking like, but rather its final form. Same way Terapagos doesn't, Terapagos, I meant Eternatus doesn't look like that all the time, or really any of the other, legendaries, even like, Zygarde and whatnot. Like, it's just, it's just not going to be that, like, all the time. Either way, let's move on to the next thing, which is going to be this post again from Soul. Says, wait, here's the underbelly and the side of Terapagos too. So yes, this is what's coming from the merch. We now have confirmation of what it looks like. And he basically says, I didn't think it would be they would be posting this today, but a new terrestrial Terapagos toy was revealed today. We can finally see all sides of it and where all the typings go. Also, I think its other typeless plates are actually hexagons. Still can't fully make them out here though. But as you can see, all the different types are on it, right? Every single typing is on there. As, kind of expected to be the case. But this is a piece of merch, though, in case anybody's wondering what's going on. But he says here, basically, the following. Wait, here's the underbelly inside of Terapagos 2. So we get to see its weird underbelly plates, as well as the side plates, which are definitely the hexagonal plates it has. This toy really shows us why this form of Terapagos is called its Terrastall form. It's clearly almost completely surrounded, even made of pure raw Terrastall energy and power that seems to come from the crystal plates all over its body. Also, they promoted this Anti-Poke Shiny Rayquaza plush too, which I guess is related to the anime more so. Moving on to the next thing, though. This is where people have been finding relationships between, specifically Scarlet and Violet and Black and White, right? Because that's the thingy that everybody's speculating for next year. It's basically stuck between next year being either Johto games or Unova games. Either one of those two, but here's some of the stuff that people have found. So you guys can see Sinjo here says, I wonder if these are the crystals found around Paldea, as Professor Turo did work alongside Fennel in Unova. But who knows? One can theorize, eh? You guys can see a crystal right there. And here's what basically Soul says. I love how people went nuts over these crystals in Black and White. The truth is, there's a lot more connecting Black and White to Scarlet and Violet than pentagonal gemstones. How about the fact that there's already an existing underwater marine tube, which is an established means of travel in Unova, and that the floor is made of literal hexagons that look very similar to the ones we see in Scarlet and Violet. I'm not saying these hexagons would have any lore with Scarlet and Violet or anything, but just that it may be possible that Game Freak made a connection here, and maybe this is why they chose for the Blueberry Academy to be in Unova. But that doesn't mean that we're going to be going to Unova next necessarily, right? This is one of those things where you kind of have to look at it from kind of like different perspectives, right? You can either take everything at face value, or you can also try to extrapolate like different things from and like different meanings out of stuff that's there. So you kind of have to look at it from both perspectives. You have to be logical about it, but also be willing to kind of look beyond the most surface level shit, right? That's something you have to keep in mind. You can't just look at everything face value. If you're just locked into this view, right, just like this, it's going to be hard because you're missing everything around that possibly could have some meaning. So basically, just because they have these connections doesn't necessarily mean that confirms Unova. However, it does help push towards the narrative of Unova possibly happening because of a lot of the stuff that's being said by leakers, by rumors, by some of the stuff that's being told to us in the games, etc., right? And yeah, so either way, we continue here. It says, and there's more to be posted about tomorrow too. I do wonder if there's another marine tube in this transportation system that will lead us from the Blueberry Academy to Unova? I don't think so. I don't think we're going to have any access to Unova itself, though it does seem unlikely to me because the BB Academy seems like it's far out in the middle of the ocean. Yes. I don't think we'll be seeing Unova in the DLC whatsoever. That's not something to be expected, but who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us. I don't think, though. But either way, moving on. So, this is a tweet that was made by Masuda. Masuda is one of the people who works at Game Freak, as well as the Pokemon Company, one of the top dogs, the top G over there. And this fella basically tweeted out, some stuff saying, "Good morning, everybody. Good weather today, too. Let's do our best this week." And he tweeted this on the 30th, and people basically thought, oh, this literally, you know, this is not going to mean anything, because usually when he tweets and takes a picture of the sky, usually a few days after, there is a trailer announcement or a release date announcement. And guess what? It happened. Soul said, "I don't usually believe this trend, but this pick is literally of nothing. I think this is the week, fam. Indigo Disk News." And guess what? That was posted on the 30th, which if we go back here, that was on Monday. So yes, it was confirmed. It was real. He posted it, and it turned out to be real. So there you go. But either way, moving on to the next thing, which is this post right here from, I guess, Dalian Gabriel here, who says, "Is this Kieran in the Pokemon Center banner?" And this is actually a Pokemon Center banner we've seen, like in the game, in Scarlet and Violet base game. I think that looks more like Gary, though, to me, in blue. You know, more so than it looks like Kieran, because we know Kieran's going to be all like badass next now. But his soul says, intentionally, I don't think it does look like Kieran, but it also kind of like blue, lol. It could be maybe, it could maybe see it being a little tease of Kieran as the champ for those who noticed. Could be the case, but yeah, it looks more like blue to me as well, though. Either way, moving on to the next thing. So this is about the Paradise. Now, Paradise is basically this, you know, place down in the bottom of, you know, Paldea and bottom of the Area Zero, which has a lot of different stuff going on with it. But basically, finally time to talk about the Paradise and Scarlet and Violet. Now, this is the idea doesn't come from me exactly, but from an Italian YouTuber, Sidonia, but it's been so long that I kind of forgot of this theory. The idea is that the hidden treasure of Area Zero, the Paradise, the evidence mostly comes from Pokemon Horizons, which isn't a retelling of Scarlet and Violet's plot, but it's based off of it. In the anime Poke, or Pokemon anime, they have been pushing this idea that an ancient adventurer, possibly a team of explorers, found a way to enter Paradise Dimension world. They even have now named this Paradise world Rakua. Side note, not Paradise is also another name for heaven and connects to God's dwelling place. So, I mean, I don't really know much about it, but let's continue. So, then there's the random and mysterious Paradise Protection Protocol in the Scarlet and Violet endgame. It is its own separate entity from the AI Professor and its goal to protect a paradise, but we don't know what the actual paradise is, similar to how we don't know what the hidden treasure is. I've said it before, there is a door in Area Zero, a sketchy door that has a similar color to Indigo, and I'm saying there's a door in Area Zero that leads nowhere, but you can interact with it. Why would they do that? There are so many doors in Scarlet and Violet that you can do nothing with. You can try to interact with, there's no interaction. There's one specific door, they just say, oh, it's currently locked. Like, why? Why is that so important to mention? That's why I think that this Paradise place, that's there, right? And we've seen pictures of this Paradise place in the recent trailers for Scarlet and Violet's DLC, where we see like a map of what seems to be that other paradise, right? A literal paradise, or the definition of a paradise. This also fits the description of Terapagos' shield ability and a certain guardian mentioned in the Heath's Scarlet and Violet book. And this is the one we actually see, by the way. When we put all this together, a theory can be made that Terapagos is protecting and is probably the key to entering the hidden treasure of Area Zero, which is this paradise world filled with crystals, probably why the explorers want Terapagos in the anime, is the key to getting into paradise. I also think maybe the true treasure is some type of Herba Mystica and Terra Crystal that you can plant and its fruits will grow into its own Terra-style paradise. More on this in the future post. Maybe this world is where Terapagos and its powers originate from, and maybe Terapagos wants to turn our world into a paradise too. The more the AI professors use the power of the Terra Crystals, the more this paradise sustained and grows. Hence why it didn't want us to stop the time machine. This would also connect to the Dragon Palace in the Tale of Urashima Taro, a palace of a god that is paradoxical in nature, and time flows differently there. This palace could be what the Paradise treasure is based off of. Serrano may have also wanted to recreate this paradise and the palace with this Blueberry Academy. I don't know how to summarize this, but ultimately I think of a lot of this way ended up like, I think a lot of this will end up being true, while a lot of these smaller details will be left out. Either way, this idea makes the most sense to me. Why else would the anime keep pushing this Rakua paradise? The ancient adventurer has even appeared and spoke to Liko from this paradise in visions, a lot like Heath's visions. I'm going to be adding more to this thread and theory as time goes on. And guess what? He did add more to that thread and theory, in this tweet right here, saying, I don't know how, after all this time, I've missed that Sarantura's research stations and journal entries. This might be Scarlet Violet's best kept secret. I always wondered where people got info that one of Arven's parents left, lol. Anyways, this info actually points out that the Paradise Protection Protocol was in fact set up by Saranturo. However, this revelation just proves this theory even more, because they specifically say that the Paradise they must create a paradise like the world in the book. I am now pretty confident that at the very least, this paradise will be revisited in some way. And this is what I've been saying. This second door down in Area Zero, there's this second door that nobody wants to talk about. Everybody seems to forget that freaking door. I think we're going to go down there. We're going to visit paradise in some way or shape. I don't think they would just leave that detail behind. Probably in the original manuscript that they specifically pointed out a Briar has in her possession. I think the manuscript is going to be the main way that we get Area Zero, Heath, Paradise World lore. Also, this doesn't totally debunk that the Paradise Protection Protocol isn't connected to Terapagos. I think that Saranturo created this protocol by allowing the Terra Crystals free reign to overgrow and take full control over the AI professors. You see that their mechanical bodies, hand, legs, eyes become decayed with Terra Crystals, which we also see throughout all of Area Zero, and specifically another journal that says the crystals are eating into things. They could also be an extension of Terapagos' power and world. More to come. But yeah, again, it's a long post. It's a lot to be said about that. Now, what I feel like is that the protection protocol clearly was set in place by them. Reason why, though, possibly influenced by the Terra Crystals, which could be connected to Terapagos itself, and everybody wants to get their hands on Terapagos, right? Because it seemingly is the way to enter down there, and I think we're going to have to do that too to get access to that location. And Paradise, I think, is a literal location in Area Zero that just isn't accessible right now. It's been locked behind by maybe the professor, or the AI professors, or maybe even the original professors while they were still alive, locked it away. Again, we're going to have to wait and see how that turns out. Moving on, though, we have the next thing to talk about here. Let's see, I think it's this one right here. So yes, now, this is a video made by Berkey Batobi about why Unova makes sense next. And basically says, this video is everything. I highly recommend checking it out. Toby and Dusty lay out some amazing evidence for why there should be a new Unova Pokemon game coming soon. But the one thing that hit me specifically is that they're basically being a time machine in Opelucid City in Gen 5. Now, where is there another time machine found in the Pokemon world? In Area Zero, Gen 9 of all places. There's many more connections with Scarlet and Violet and Opelucid City too, but this one stands out to me because one thing that we never really explained is how and why Ingo ended up in Old Hisui, PLA. He lost all his memories of how he got there. His story could literally play a role, or at the very least be explained in a future Unova game. Exactly. It's possible that he could have somehow traveled back in time through this Opelucid time machine. I'm one that leans towards, after getting a basic Gen 2 to Gen 5 remake game, that we could get a Unova-based game that isn't just a remake, but something more. Along the lines of PLA, and Ingo and Opelucid Time Machine's ID could really have made me believe it a bit more. Definitely check out the video for more clues. And yes, there's a house in Opelucid City where you speak with a man, actually two men, who ask you for a Pokemon from the other version who knows Charge. In White, the man says, I want to know the future. I'm very worried. I wonder how my child Thyme will spend the future. I'm making a machine that connects the future and the present, but electricity is desperately short. I've heard that in another world, there's another Opelucid City. Ooh, okay. In another world, there's another Opelucid City that looks very futuristic. If there is a Pokemon from that world that knows the move Charge, that machine may work. In Black, the man says, I want to return to the past. I want to do many things over again. My father, Bosch, created a machine to see the future. I'm making a machine to connect it with the past, but I don't have enough electricity. I've heard that in another world, there's another Opelucid City that looks very, very old-timey, I guess. If there's a Pokemon from that world that knows the move Charge, that machine may work. Interesting. That is a very interesting way to look at it, huh? Well, I mean, the Unova connections are obvious, right? The only thing, though, is like, where does it fit in with everything else, like in terms of like just logically when it would release and how it works with like the release schedules and all that kind of stuff? Because I look at this stuff from what can you extrapolate from like theories and stuff like that, but also what can we learn from the actual facts of how they release their games? It's kind of the way I view it. But nonetheless, though, this has been a blast to go through. There's a lot of stuff that's been talked about. I want to thank you all for going through this video with me because this was a long one. But yeah, either way, that's pretty much all that I have for today, guys. Like I said, I will be live on YouTube probably a little bit after this video goes out. I'll be live on YouTube. We're going to be specifically talking about all the stuff we talked about now, plus more. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm going to be over on the RuffledRowlit main channel. If you don't know that channel, guys, if you're not new here, it's just a RuffledRowlit on YouTube. Just search it up. It's with the green and bluish logo. Just click that one, go in on the channel, and we're going to be live in a bit. We're going to be doing a little bit of like a podcast type thing with a few people talking about stuff. So yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for coming through. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.